1986 at the age of 17. He initially served 3 years with the Texas Army National Guard as a signaller and 3 years with the Army Reserves as an artilleryman and drill sergeant. In 1992, he was commissioned among the top 5% of all cadets in the nation.
Do we have to go through this district commander?
That's my time. You hold tight. You earned it, so.
It's going to be a while. Yeah, you can forego all that.
All right. So I present to you Legionnaire Joseph.
Good morning, Fifth District. How are you doing? Good. All right. So, the district commander has asked me to come and talk to you about running a post meeting, and I'll do it from here. I won't do it from up there. All right? Now, I will tell you that there are slight differences between running a post meeting, a district meeting, department, and national. Okay? So today, we're going to focus on a post meeting, which hence means the Legion, not the SAL, or auxiliary, because there are slight differences between those organizations too. That being said, this is my gavel. I lifted this gavel from my post when I was a post historian. It was hand carved in 1964 by the 12th district commander for the very first commander of our post, Omar Carruthers. Okay? And I took it. I'll give it back when I'm done. Okay? But with this gavel, I was fortunate enough to be the commander of the Sons of the American Legion Squadron 379. Okay? The chef de garde of the 40 and 8, Locale 1185. The commander of Airport City's VFW Post 10454 in Grapevine, where we were the #1 post in Texas. The commander of the 12th District. And now I hold it as the commander of First U.S. Bedford American Legion Post 379. Okay? Here's some of my credentials. I'm a National American Legion College graduate. I'm a Department Legion College instructor. As a senior city councilor at Texas Boys State, I help our statesmen better understand parliamentary procedures. And as a senior section counselor, 1 of 4 in the entire American Legion, at Boys Nation, I help our Boys Nation senators understand national legislative procedures. Okay? So, those are my credentials. Not perfect, but I do know a little bit something about how to run a meeting and parliamentary procedures. That being said, my class will not be as boring as Dan Corbin's class. If you don't know who Dan Corbin is past department commander, past mayor of Killeen, past department judge advocate, a trainer at the department level, okay? And he has a YouTube video that you can go and check out after we're done here today. But it's pretty boring. Mine's going to be a little bit more entertaining. That being said, packets are being handed out to you, okay? They are excerpts from the 2022 American Legion Officer's Guide and Manual of Procedure, okay? So from this point forward, feel free to interrupt me at any point in time, okay? So with your packet, I also have Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, we're currently in the 12th edition, which was released in 2020. Now, don't be shy. I would like audience participation. If I say something that you don't agree with, okay, or you want to share a best practice, please speak up. All right? So, let's look at excerpt number 1. Plan of a post meeting room. Who's the post commander of this post? Okay, absolutely. All right. Do you have your adjutant here? Chaplain? First vice? Okay. All right. So as you can see, all right, up front on the stage, we have the chaplain going from left to right. Chaplain, the post commander, adjutant, finance officer. All right. And then seated here is the first vice, second vice. Okay? In the back is the immediate past post commander, okay, and then the sergeant at arms. And I just share that with you because this is what's out of the manual. Okay? I'm not saying that some of us are doing it right or some of us are doing it wrong. I'm just sharing with you what's in the manual. All right? So, we'll talk about the sergeant at arms being in the back and coming up with colors and all right. So, a couple of random facts. All right? What does one gavel strike mean? Attention, okay? Or
5-minute warning.
or sit down. Right? You can't answer past state commander. No, that's not true. Please join in. You're going to have all the answers anyway. All right. Then what does 3?
Rise.
Rise. Okay. Does anyone understand the whole hollow ground principle? Okay. Who does not? Okay, who does? All right. Division Commander, can you talk to us briefly about the hollow ground?
The second handout covers all that, I think. Absolutely. Basically, in Texas, we do not cross between the colors, between the Legion colors and the national colors. We just don't do it because it's considered to be hollow ground, and we do not want to trespass on that.
Absolutely. Okay, so first question. If the colors, the national colors are in reverse or the eagle's facing backwards, is this hollow ground?
No.
Why not? Okay, absolutely. Okay. All right. Next, random fact. All right, what does 2 mean when we do hand salute? Yeah, go ahead.
You might want to, if you go to other departments, you have to, they do not believe in the hollow ground. It's only the state of Texas that respects the hollow ground. So if you go to another department, you have to see them reaching in between there. Don't stand up, don't jump up, because not every department does that.
And that's a great point, as State Commander, because as a member of the Boys Nation staff, I get made fun of a lot because we do things differently here in Texas. All right, not just the hollow ground, but one of the things that we do in Texas is that we approach from this side. We salute the colors, move up to the stage or the podium, do what we have to do. We exit on this side and we salute the colors. And it drives everybody else crazy because they come from the other side. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say who it was, but this person's a past national commander. I received an award at Boys Nation this year, and I came from that. And he purposely put the podium right here so I couldn't get up there. And what did I do as a stubborn Texan? I forced my way up there. So I got up on stage, and he just kind of made me do, left face, about face, right face, and tried to embarrass me, but I'm proud to be a Texan. So going back to the past department commander's point, we do things a little bit differently in Texas. Just keep that in mind whenever you go somewhere else. Don't jump on it. All right. It is why is it that way? Why is it that way? I think we just develop our own traditions. Each department, well, I wouldn't say every department, but many departments have their own traditions. Okay? And that's our tradition, the hollow ground, and also approaching from the side of the colors.
It also comes from the state itself.
Yep.
The state says it's good for Texas, it's good for the nation.
I said I did. I said I did. But I did notice as I did some research, as I conducted some research, that some states are adopting the hollow ground. Okay, but I know for a fact they still approach them that way. So it is what it is. Any other points on the hollow ground and things that we do differently here in Texas? All right. All right. So before moving on, let's talk about motions. Okay. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. All right. So when you make a motion, all right, you say, I move to, and then you make the motion. Okay? Most of the time, the majority of the time, it needs to be seconded. Okay? When it is seconded, then you go into discussion. All right? And here's the best practice. You don't have to do this, all right? When you go into discussion, ask for a pro and a con. And just go pro, con, pro, con, pro, con. All right? As opposed to having all cons or all pros. Because if you're having all pros and all cons, you're kind of wasting everyone's time. If everyone's for the motion and you don't have the opposing view, then go ahead and call the question. And that's just the best practice. Otherwise, someone may make a great motion, you have 10 people saying how great it is, and 10 minutes pass. All right? So, you have the original motion, okay? And you can amend a motion 2 levels down. That's it. That's the maximum that Robert's rule says, okay? So, to amend a motion, you say, I move to amend, and then you make the amendment, all right? It gets seconded, all right? And then there's a discussion on the amendment. Once the discussion is complete on the amendment, pro con preferably, all right, you vote on that amendment. Okay, that's 1 level down. Once that amendment has been approved, or the motion does not carry, then you go back to the original motion and continue the discussion on the original motion, whether it's amended or not. Exhaust the discussion, then you vote. Clear as mud? A lot of people get confused with that, okay? You can amend 2 levels down, okay? Someone make a motion to do something. Anything.
I move to adjourn.
I move to adjourn, okay? Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second, all right? Now, who seconded that? The vice commander, right? Okay, what if the commander seconded? Could he?
No.
Why not?
'Cause
He doesn't have a vote? So the commander does not have a vote, correct?
correct.
Absolutely. What's the exception? I got it. To break the tie. Okay, absolutely.
Actually, there's another time he gets the vote.
Go ahead, please.
Also, the commander gets the vote if it's a 2/3 vote. There is no tie on the 2/3 vote, so if you're voting on something that requires a 2/3 vote, the commander does get the vote.
Absolutely. So I move to adjourn. We got a second, all right, from the vice commander. All right, discussion. All right. So, yes.
Who gets, during the discussion, who gets to speak first?
What do you mean?
Who gets to speak first during the discussion?
Whoever raises
the hand.
Original, according to Robert's rule, or whoever made the motion gets to speak first.
Okay, all right, y'all hear that? All right. So, we're in the discussion part, okay? Let's say will someone amend that motion? I move, okay, I'll amend it, okay? I move that we adjourn at 2200 hours. Or I move that we amend the motion to adjourn at 2200 hours, okay? So we have the original motion, we got the amendment, we got a second, then we discuss, all right? No, I don't want to, 2200 hours is too late, I want to adjourn now, I like the original motion, pros, cons, pros, cons, pros, cons. We vote, okay? Everyone votes down to adjourn at 2200 hours, then we go back to the original motion and we continue the discussion. Clear as mud? Okay? Or they vote up and then the motion is amended. Okay, the motion on the floor is that we will adjourn at 2200. That becomes the main motion. Okay? And then we discuss that and we vote. Is anyone confused? All right. That's about as simple as I can make it. Go ahead.
Well, when you vote on the amendment motion, the commander should say, we'll vote now on the original motion as amended, because it's got to be stated as amended.
Correct.
Since you amended the motion.
And that's a great point. Anytime you get ready to vote, you should recite the motion. Okay? Because sometimes people zone in and zone out, like a couple people are already. All right? You restate the motion so that everyone understands what's going on. And sometimes you can even go a little bit further and clarify some things. Because sometimes we have double negative emotions or motions on the floor and people get confused. If I vote yes, that's a bad thing. If I vote no, that's a good thing. Clear as mud? All right.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
What's an example of a two-thirds vote? What would require a two-thirds vote?
Okay, I have a great example.
Okay.
A great example, and we're gonna get to that a little bit later, is call the question, okay? That means someone out there is tired of hearing the discussion and they wanna vote, okay? That takes 2/3 majority to vote. Because what we wanna do when executing parliamentary procedures is we want to exhaust the discussion, but we don't want it to go on for hours upon hours, okay? Does that make sense? So someone says call a question, okay? You vote, okay? 2/3 majorities says, yeah, call the question, then you vote on the original motion. Okay, if you don't get 2/3, then you have to keep discussing, okay? All right, so,
When
Go ahead.
two-thirds vote, it means usually there's something not good happening.
right, right. All right, one more thing on motions, I think we might continue this conversation a little bit later, is let's say you vote on something, okay? All right, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign, okay? You can't tell who won, all right? Now, there's a couple of things you can do. What you're supposed to say is division, all right? Or someone from the audience says division, which basically means either raise your hand or stand up, and then you just get a head count, okay? So if it's unclear who won, anyone can say division, like prove it, okay? All right. All right. I'm going to jump ahead and then bounce back. All right. Remember earlier I spoke about Dan Corbin. If you go online, okay, to the department website, he has this nice little packet, how to run a meeting. Okay? In the very end, there are 2 cheat sheets here concerning motions and amendments and things of that sort. All right? So if you look at it, it should be the last item in your packet. And you look at the column titles, you got the purpose, what you're supposed to say, okay? If you can interrupt what's going on, does it need a second? Is there a requirement for debate? Okay? Amendment, and then vote. And then if you look down the vote column, you'll see where you need either a majority, 2/3, or nothing. Okay? Make sense? All right. Anyone else have anything to add in reference to motions? All right. So, before we get into the meeting, here's some of the best practices that I use, okay, and that I've used in the past. And if you have any best practices, please share them with the group. All right. One thing that I do at every meeting is check membership cards. Okay? You may not need to do that at your post. Our post has the total membership number of 1,366. Can't remember who's paid and who hasn't. So we check membership cards, and it's really important after the 1st of February, because technically, if you have an old membership card, you're no longer a member. So, I always open my meetings to the SAL, ALR, and the auxiliary. Okay, they're there to observe. If they don't have a vote, obviously, and they don't have a voice, but I do recognize them if they want to speak up. And usually, I recognize the leader. Okay, in my committee reports, it's either the president for the ALA, the commander for the SAL, or the director for the ALR. We'll see that a little bit later. Okay? All right, I always have training at my meeting. There's a couple ways you can do this. Okay? I do the training, not me personally, but we conduct the training at our post right before we open up the meeting. Okay? If you want, you could have training during the committee reports, or you could have it under good of the order. I prefer at the beginning of the meeting because you have everyone's attention. All right? 5 to 10 minutes. I probably wouldn't do more than 5 minutes. All right? And then also, I will have a flag up front if it is the birthday month for one of the services. So at our meeting that we had on Thursday, I had the Navy flag right next to the Legion flag, since the Navy's birthday is October 13th. Anyone else want to share any best practices? Can you sing? You can sing happy birthday. One of the things I wanted to do was to play the song of whatever service is having their birthday. I mean, I guess if you want to, you can sing happy birthday. But we haven't gotten there this year because we've had a lot of drama at our post. We just really wanted to get down to business after the training. So it's up to you. Anyone else have any best practices? Okay, if you look at the first stapled sheets of paper, basically this is out of the Officer's Guide and Manual of Procedures, starting on page 41 to 45. This is essentially how you conduct a proper post meeting. All right? Again, there are differences between the district and the post and at higher levels. Okay? The meeting is broken down into the opening ceremony, POW, MIA, empty chair, the order of business, POW, MIA, remembrance ceremony, and closing ceremony. So starting on page 1, I'm sorry, not page 1, page 41. Okay, opening ceremony. If you look at the very first paragraph, third line, one rap of the gavel. Okay, to let everyone know that the meeting's about to begin. Okay? Then after that, 3 raps. We said that was to stand up. Okay? Next line. I'm not going to go line by line, but there's some things I want to highlight. Next line, the post commander says, the color bearers will advance the colors. Advance means to bring them forward. Okay? A lot of times what we'll do is we'll turn the colors. Okay? But it says specifically advance. So, not saying you're right or wrong, I'm just going through what's in the book. All right? Post commanders, hand salute. Okay? As the colors are coming forward. All right? Here you can play to the colors. I've never seen that done. You can sing happy birthday, as the vice commander said, and all that kind of stuff. We bypass all of that. And then 2. Does anyone understand? Oh, I already asked for the whole 1, 2 thing. So we say 2 because it's a 2-count movement. All right? Back in the old days, the legionnaires used to say, and by the numbers, 1, 2. Okay? That's why you have TWO in here throughout this document. Okay. Then we move into the chaplain's prayer. Okay? Here's a recommended prayer. You could use it or not. Okay? Post commander tells everyone, all members and guests in attendance shall remain standing with their caps removed and placed over their heart from the opening prayer through the POW MIA ceremony and concluding with the Pledge of Allegiance. And the reason I bring that out is because sometimes we mix up what's happening at how a district does the meeting with how a post does the meeting. Okay? So, POW, empty chair, is established. Okay? We still have our caps over our hearts. Okay? But what I've actually seen is uncover. You know, you have the prayer. Okay? Then cover, then salute the POW MIA flag, then uncover again. Okay? But here it says uncover from the opening prayer through the POW MIA ceremony, concluding with the Pledge of Allegiance. That's different at different levels. Okay? All right, moving on to the next page. All right, we're moving into part 2, POW MIA empty chair. All right? There's a long ceremony here. You know, you can abbreviate it. You can just jump down to where the commander speaks about the POW MIA empty chairs placed at all official meetings, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Say it with me. Repatriation. Repatriation. Not repatriation. It's repatriation. So make sure you practice before you get up in front of your post. Heard some pretty interesting interpretations of that word. Okay? Commander then says place the POWMI flag on the empty chair. All right? All right, remember, the first and second vice are up here. The sergeant at arms is back there. So according to the manual of procedure, the first and second vice are supposed to cover the chair. The sergeant at arms is in the back to keep people in check with words like decorum when they get out of control, or when the commander says throw Legionnaire, Perkins out, things of that sort. Okay, so technically, according to this document, the first vice and the second vice will drape the chair. Okay, at this time, you can, you can sing the Star Spangled Banner and things of that sort. That's what it says here, right above, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Okay, you can sing that or sing happy birthday to whatever, it's up to you, okay? All right, after the POW MIA chair is squared away, okay, still uncovered, I pledge allegiance to the flag, say the pledge, okay? And then at that time, everybody recovers. Okay, no saluting of the flag, all right? And then you go through the preamble to the Constitution of the American Legion. Good? All right, moving on to the order of business. All right, page 43. Okay, I now declare First U.S. Bedford, Post 379, Department of Texas, regularly convened. Roll call of officers, okay, to determine if you have a quorum. That's based off of your Constitution and bylaws, all right? Then the reading of the minutes. So at our post, one of our practices is that we have the executive committee meeting right before the membership meeting. It starts at 6. Okay, membership meeting's at 7. All right? And the adjutant and I have a technique where he takes shorthand, okay? So that when we get to the general membership meeting, I read 2 minutes, or he reads 2 minutes, okay? He reads first the last meeting minutes, the last general membership meeting minutes from the previous month, okay? And then he reads the executive committee meeting from 3 minutes before. Okay? It's a technique. Okay? Now, both of the minutes have to be approved by the membership. Okay? Not every single report needs to be approved. As a matter of fact, outside of the finance report and the minutes, that's really kind of it. Okay? Unless the general membership needs to make a decision on something. Okay? So, reading of the minutes from the last meeting. Okay? I take a motion, and sometimes people forget to make a motion, so you could go like this, or I entertain a motion. This is my best practice. I'll entertain a motion from the floor to go through the whole procedures. All right, good. The ayes have it. Then we read the meeting of the executive committee meeting, which just happened. All right, same process. All right. Feel free to jump in if you need to. All right, moving on to C, introduction of guests. There, you can introduce them how you choose to introduce them. I usually say past post commander, stand up. Past district commander, stand up. Past division commander, stand up. Okay? And we have no past department commanders in our post. Okay? I'll recognize Madam President. I'll recognize SAL commander, and I'll recognize the director of the ALR. Now, you can expand that or shorten it. It's really up to you. But this as long as you recognize distinguished people in the audience and guests. All right. Moving on, committee reports. Now, there's a single document that says post-meeting committee reports. This is my best practice. This is not something that came out of the manual. This is just what I do, okay? So, there's no specific order of committee reports, but like most Legion posts, we start with finance. And the reason why we start with finance is because usually later on, during the other reports, you gotta pay for something. So it's nice for them to have our financial status already in their head. So we go through the finance report, first vice membership, second vice entertainment, all the way down. Now, you'll see on here towards, okay, I'm sorry, where it says Pillar 1, right under the chaplain report, close to the top. Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation and Service Officer Report. Okay? If you go back to this document here, all right, there's a Service Officer Report broken out from the other committee reports. I just rather have the service officer speak with everyone else as opposed to having them speak later and after we elect new members. It just seems like not really, it doesn't flow as well, I think, if you break it up. So it's up to you. All right. So we go through the committee reports, all right? If you have long-winded speaking people, like some people in my post, you may ask them, okay, please limit your reports to 3 minutes, okay? And I will tell you, in Robert's rules, technically, you're supposed to get 10 minutes, each person who wants to speak. That seems like an awful lot to me. So you can adjust that by putting in your CBLs, or at the beginning of every meeting, have someone, one of your plants, say, Commander, let's say, for instance, you're going to have a knockdown drag out at your post meeting, all right? Like we had on Thursday, all right? A couple of officers are in trouble, and they knew it was coming. So someone could say, Commander, all right? They're addressing the chair. I move that we limit all discussion to 2 minutes per person, no more than 2 times. And you can set it up however you want. But technically, according to Robert's rules, you can have 10 minutes, all right? So you get a second on that discussion, vote, then you're good, all right? And basically what you're doing is the membership is taking their own rights away. You can't take their rights away as a commander. Only the membership can do that. Anyone want to highlight that or add anything to it? Okay, so moving on from, once you're done with the committee reports, then at that point in time, according to the manual procedures, you elect new members, all right? Then that's when you go over sick call and relief, and following that, the post officer's report. Someone have a comment back there? Okay, all right, and as you can see, going back to the one-sheeter, the post-meeting committee reports, after the hub master speaks, I have the ALA liaison, which is usually Madam President, speak, SAL commander, ALR director, and then we go back over to the manual procedure, page 43, okay? And we go to unfinished business, all right? New business. If you want, you can, at that time, unfinished business, then initiation of candidates, which we don't do. We have a totally separate ceremony for that, all right? New business, okay? A memorial, we have a totally separate ceremony for that, okay? Then good of the American Legion or good of the order, okay? After that, then you move over to the POW-MIA Remembrance Service, which I add it to a post meeting. I would recommend you just totally separate it and save it for POW-MIA Day. All right, then you move into the closing ceremonies, all right? Now, you've gone through unfinished business, new business, and good of the order or good of the American Legion, all right? After everyone's done, you give them one more chance. Is there any further business to come before this meeting? All right? If not, 3 wraps, which we said was to stand up. Okay, chaplain prays. All right? Of course, when the chaplain prays, you uncover. After he's immediately done, he or she, then you cover. All right? Again, you can sing America the Beautiful, My Country 'Tis of Thee, Happy Birthday, things of that sort. All right? Post commander says, Sergeant at Arms, recover the POW-MIA flag. Okay? He comes up, he recovers the flag. All right? As the Sergeant at Arms is recovering the flag, not the first vice or the first second or second vice. You read the statement, hey, till we meet again, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Okay? Sergeant at Arms moves over to the colors, hand salute, boom. Okay, see there was no hand salute for the POW flag, except for maybe the Sergeant at Arms. Hand salute, Sergeant at Arms retrieves the colors, okay? Hand salute remains until the colors are at the rear of the room, and then 2 of a 2-count movement. At At that point, your meeting is done. Commander announces, I declare this meeting of Hurst Hewis Bedford, Post 379, the American Legion Department of Texas adjourned. One wrap, and you're done with your meeting. Okay? So, I went through that relatively quickly. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Any best practices or anything for the group? Yes, please, Commander.
At the department level, we post the colors, we have the chaplain give us prayer, then we do the pledge. And we do it in that order because once we recover, we believe it's an honor to salute the POWMIA flag when it's being presented. We also salute it when they're retiring it. That's just our way of honoring it. That's why if you go to a department convention, POW is back behind the pledge so that once we recover, we can salute them at the POWs.
Now, so that's a great point. So at one point in time, I was a Boy Scout and Boy Scout volunteer. Then I was in the Army. Now I'm a Legionnaire and a VFW member. Okay. And one thing I noticed about retiring the colors is it's different for each organization. So then, realizing that, I went back to the flag code. Okay. The U.S. flag code says simply retire the colors with respect. All right. I share that with you because I specifically looked in the manual to see, do you have to do things this way? Or can you just execute the meeting with respect? And I couldn't find that. So I think you can vary based off of some of the mechanics like the department commander or past department commander mentioned. Okay? All I shared with you today was what's in the actual manual. If you want to move some things around like I did, I think it's okay. Even though I didn't see it with my eyes, okay, I think it's okay to move some things around as long as you just do things with respect. Does that make sense? So if you want to cover, salute the POWMIA flag, then uncover again, so be it. Okay? All I did today was share with you what was in the manual of procedure. Okay? Any other points or questions? All right, one more thing on flag etiquette. All right? So, we come to the stage, we salute the colors, like I said before. Okay? When we exit on that side, what are we saluting? Does anyone know? Are we saluting the Legion flag? Are we saluting the chairman?
Colors.
Saluting the colors. Okay? I swear, sometimes when I see people, it looks like they're saluting the Legion flag. Or the chairman. I'm like, who's he? Or she? You know? All you're doing is showing respect to the colors. Okay? If you're in a meeting and you get so tired because the speaker is boring and you need to go take a latrine break, when you leave the room, salute the colors. Okay? Something we do here in Texas, and I couldn't find out why we do it. I've seen this actually happen. You're sitting in your row. You want to get up because the speaker is boring. All right? You salute the colors at the end of the row. Walk all the way to the back of the room, and you salute the colors again. Go use the latrine, come back, salute the colors, okay? Walk to the edge of your row, salute the colors again. I think that's a little bit excessive. I've seen a lot of people do it, okay? What the manual says is just salute before you exit, okay? Preferably at the back of the room. Okay, so that, all right, there you go. That was a great point. Say that again.
Maybe because we're confused on what to do. And you see so many people doing it, you know, well, I don't want to be right and get called out, or wrong and get called out, so I'll just do it.
Right. And that's okay. And maybe in Texas we need to come up with how we do it in Texas to include the hollow ground and things of that sort. Do we salute twice? Do we salute once, as the American Legion recommend? Do we salute on this side the Legion flag or what have you? It's just some of those traditions where I couldn't get a clear answer, okay? Because most of us are copying those who come before us. When you're brand new Legionnaire, you're just like, okay, whatever they do, I'll do it. But, yes, sir.
You salute, if you have a cover on, you salute.
Yes, sir.
You don't have a cover on. You salute with your hand or you put your hand over your heart.
Put your hand over your heart.
Congress gave Veterans Authority, they don't have to have cover on when they salute the flag.
Division, man, you want to, were we saying, you said it changed?
That's it, change.
Absolutely.
You can salute with or without cover.
A veteran can't.
You can do it either way if you don't have a cover.
Right. And so again, depends on you, it's best practice. As, like I said before, I was an adult scout volunteer, and when that law came out, all the veterans started saluting, okay? So, remember the point I said, when a new Legionnaire is in the audience and they're watching it, and you don't have a cover on, and you hand salute, okay? Or a spouse is in the audience, or a civilian, they might think that when they come up, they need to hand salute. So, the correct answer is you're supposed to hand salute. I would recommend put your hands over your heart, just because people don't know. They just don't know. So let's say you have a guest speaker who's not a veteran, okay? He sees you come up with no cover on. You are a veteran, okay? And you hand salute. Then he or she is going to automatically think that they need to hand salute. So I just put my hand over your heart, or over my heart. It's really kind of up to you. So. We're going to throw that. Everyone understands that when you lay your Legion cover down, that the emblem's up. Ladies, you can keep your covers on. When you eat, everyone else, take your covers off. Okay? I think that's unfair. No, I'm joking.
Wait.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, that concludes my block of instruction. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.